Hello guys, my name is Prince and this is Math Center. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Post your comments and questions on my social media handles and I'll respond to it. We are on the topic fractions and this is the first video on the topic fractions. What are the objectives that we look forward to achieving at the end of this topic? At the end of this topic, you should be able to distinguish between the types of fractions. You should be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. And you should be able to solve word problems involving fractions. So let's learn some basic terms and definitions about fractions. Common fractions or vulgar fractions are expressed in the form a over b, where b is not equal to 0. So when we say fractions, they are numbers that are expressed in the form a over b. When numbers are expressed in this form, it's referred to as a common fraction or a vulgar fraction, as we can see here. Now, for a over b to be considered as a fraction, b must not be 0. Because if b becomes 0, we are going to have a over 0, which will give us an undefined expression. So fractions are expressed in the form a over b. Now, if fractions are expressed in the form a over b, the top part, which in this case is a, is called the numerator. Then b, which is the down part, is called the denominator. So whenever you have a fraction of the form a over b, so if you have a fraction like 1 over 2, 1 is called the numerator and b is called the denominator. We want to look at some examples of fractions. So examples are 1 over 2, 3 over 4, 2 over 3, 9 over 2. These are all examples of fractions. So in this case, 1 is the numerator, 2 is the denominator. Here 3 is the numerator, here 4 is the denominator. 2 is the numerator here, 3 is the denominator here. Then when you come here, 9 is the numerator and 2 is the denominator. We want to look at some types of fractions. The first one we are going to consider are what we refer to as proper fraction. A fraction with the numerator less than the denominator. So whenever you have a fraction where the numerator is smaller than the denominator, we say that you have a proper fraction. So for example, we have 1 over 2, where 1, which is the numerator, is less than the denominator. We have 5 over 7, where 5, which is the numerator, is less than the denominator. And we have 4 over 9, where 4, which is the numerator, is also smaller than the denominator. Another example of fraction we want to consider is what we call the improper fraction. A fraction with the numerator greater than the denominator. So improper fraction is the opposite of proper fractions. So for improper fractions, the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So when you come here, 10 is bigger than 3, 7, which is the numerator, is bigger than 2, which is the denominator, and 19, which is the numerator, is bigger than 5, which is the denominator. We want to consider another one, which we are going to call mixed numbers. Some books refer to as mixed fractions. Mixed numbers contain both whole numbers and fractional parts. So they are fractions, but you have whole number parts, then you have the fractional parts. The fractional parts are proper fractions. So here are some examples. So when you come here, we have 2 whole number 1 over 3. That is how this is read. So when you come here, this is the fraction 2 whole number 1 over 3. You see that we have a whole number part, which is 2. Then we have the fractional part, which is 1 over 3. Now you can see that this fractional part, which is 1 over 3, is a proper fraction because the numerator is less than the denominator. In the same way, when you come here, we have 15 whole number 2 over 5. So the whole number part is 15 and the fractional part is 2 over 5. When you come here, we have negative 4 whole number 1 over 2. So here 4 whole number 1 over 2 is the fraction. The negative sign is giving an indication that the whole fraction here is negated. So we have negative 4 whole number 1 over 2. Usually when we are working in fractions, then the fraction is given to us as mixed numbers or mixed fractions. We have to change them to improper fractions so that the work can be done. So we are going to learn how to change mixed numbers or mixed fractions to improper fractions. So changing mixed numbers to improper fractions. Remember, some books refer to mixed numbers as mixed fractions. So we are going to change 2 whole number 1 over 3, 15 whole number 2 over 5, negative 4 whole number 1 over 2, and 7 whole number 3 over 4 to improper fractions. Now, how is that done? Let's pick the first example, 2 whole number 1 over 3. Now, if you want to change this to improper fractions, the first thing you need to do is to multiply the denominator here by the whole number part. So you are going to multiply the denominator, which is 3 in this case, by the whole number part, which is 2. Now, what will that give us? We know that 3 times 2 will give us 6. Then you add the results to the numerator. So you add 6, the result that you get, you add 6 to the numerator, which is 1, and that is going to give us 7. Then you divide what you get by the denominator here. So you are going to have 7 over the denominator, which is 3. So this is what we mean. First, multiply the numerator by the whole number part. So first multiply the denominator by the whole number part. So multiply 2 by 3. Now when you multiply 2 by 3, here is it. You add your results, what you get, to the numerator, which is plus 1. Then you divide the whole thing by the denominator. We know that 2 times 3 will give us 6 plus 1 over 3. So 2 whole number 1 over 3 is the same as 7 over 3. So you see, we have converted this mixed numbers or mixed fraction to an improper fraction. Let's take the next example. We have 15 whole number 2 over 3. So once again, you multiply the denominator here with the whole number part. So it's 5 times 15. Then you add what you get to the numerator. So plus 2. You divide the whole thing by the denominator. So 5 times 15 will give us 75. 75 plus 2 divided by 5. You know that 75 plus 2 is the same as 77. Then we divide that by 5. Let's take the next example. Now you can see from here that we have negative 4 whole number 1 over 2. Now whenever you have this, work as if the negative sign is not there, then negate the fraction in the long run. Now this is what I mean. So you are going to bring the negative sign here. So this one is equal to the negative sign. So you bring the negative sign in front of the fraction that you have. Then you work as if the negative sign was not there. So multiply 2 by 4. 2 times 4 plus, you add the results to the numerator, which is plus 1. So it's equal to negative, you know that 2 times 4 is 8, then plus 1 divided by 2. So you are going to have negative 9 over 2. So you just bring the negative sign here and you work as if the negative sign was not there. Remember, you are not going to multiply 2 by negative 4, but rather 2 by 4. Then you add the results to 1. So you are going to have 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1 divided by 2. We know that 8 plus 1 is 9, then over 2. Let's pick the last example. We have 7 whole number 3 over 4. So once again, you multiply the denominator by the whole number part. So 4 times 7. You add the results to the numerator. So plus 3 divided by you add the results to the numerator, which is plus 3, divided by the denominator, which is 4. So we are going to have 4 times 7 will give you 8 plus 3 divided by 4. You know that 8 plus 3 will give us 31, then we divide by 4. So we have learned how to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. Sometimes after working for a particular question, the final answer we are going to have will be in improper fraction form, as we have here. Usually, when we have our answers in improper fraction form, we represent our final answer as mixed numbers or mixed fractions. So we are going to learn how to change mixed numbers improper fractions to mixed numbers. So in the previous slide, we learned how to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. This time we are going to change improper fractions to mixed numbers. Now when you have an improper fraction, this is how to change it to a mixed number. We can see from here that we have 7 over 2. So if you want to change this to a mixed number, this is what you do. First divide 7 by 2. So let's try that on a calculator and see. So you are going to divide 7 by 2. So if you divide 7 by 2, you see that you are going to have 3.5. Now you can see from here that we have the whole number part as 3 and the fractional part as 5. We are interested in the whole number part here, so we are going to pick the whole number part. Now the whole number part that we have is 3, so that will be the whole number part of the mixed fraction or the mixed number that we have. So we have 3. So it means that we are left with the numerator part and the denominator part. The denominator part is the denominator here, which is 2. So now we have the whole number part and we have the denominator part. So how do we get the numerator? Multiply 3 by 2 as we were doing in the previous slide. So 3 times 2 will give us 6. Then subtract that from the numerator, which is 7. So you are going to have 7 minus 6, which will give us 1. So it means that if you convert 7 over 2 to mixed numbers or mixed fractions, you are going to have 3 whole number 1 over 2. Once again, this is what you do. Divide 7 by 2 and pick the whole number part. That is going to be the whole number of the mixed fraction that you have. Then we come here to find the fractional part. The denominator part of the fraction will be the denominator that you have here. So that denominator is 2. Multiply the 2 that you have here with the whole number part, which in this case is 3. You are going to get 6. Subtract that from the numerator here. So 7 minus 6 will give us 1. Let's pick another example. We have 10 divided by 3. So we are going to divide 10 by 3. Now let's try that on the calculator and see what we get. So we are going to divide 10 by 3. Now when you divide 10 by 3, you see that we have 3.3333, so the 3 will continue to infinity. What you are interested in is the whole number part. So in this case, the whole number part is 3, as we can see. So you see that we have 3 points, the rest are decimals. We want the whole number, which is 3. So we pick that. Now as soon as you have that whole number part is going to be the whole number for the mixed fraction. So our whole number is 3. Then we have to find the numerator and the denominator. The denominator will be the denominator of this fraction here, which is 3. Now we have the whole number part, we have the denominator part, so we are left finding the numerator. 3 times 3 will give us 9. Subtract 9 from 10, which is the numerator here. We know that 10 minus 9 will give us 1. So if you convert 10 over 3 to mixed fraction or mixed numbers, you are going to have 3 whole number 1 over 3. Let's pick some more examples. We have negative 59 divided by 5. Once again, work as if the negative sign is not there, then you negate the eventual answer that you are going to have. So you are going to find 98 divided by 5. This question says you should convert negative 98 divided by 5 to mixed numbers or mixed fractions. So we are going to find 98 divided by 5. So let's try that on our calculator and see. So 98 divided by 5. Now we can see from here that we are having 19.6. So 19 will be the whole number part. That is what we are interested in. So you pick the 19. 19 will be the whole number part. So you pick the 19. So we have 19. Now we can see from here that we have the whole number part, so we are left with the numerator and the denominator. We already know the denominator to be 5, so we pick that denominator as 5. Now to find the numerator, Multiply 19 by 5. We know that if you multiply 19 by 5, you multiply 19 by 5, so 19 times 5, we are going to get 95. Then you subtract 95 from 98. 98 minus 95 is going to give us 3. Now remember, the whole thing was negative, so you negate the eventual answer. So you can see from here that if you convert negative 98 divided by 5 to mixed numbers, you are going to have negative 19 whole number 3 over 5. Let's pick the final example. We have 293 divided by 17, and we are supposed to convert this to mixed numbers or mixed fractions. So this is what you are going to do. First, find 293 divided by 17. So 293 divided by 17, and we know that that is going to give us 17.235. So what we are interested in is the whole number part. So here the whole number part is 17. Now if the whole number part is 17, it means that that whole number is going to be the whole number for the mixed fraction. So 17. It means that we are left with finding the numerator and the denominator. We know that the denominator here is going to be the denominator that we have here, which is 17. So the whole number part is 17. The denominator of the fractional part is also 17. So to find the numerator, multiply 17 by 17. We know that if you multiply 17 by 17, you are going to get 289. So 17 by 17, if you do that on our calculator, 17 times 17, you are going to have 289. So after you have 289, you subtract 289 from the numerator here, which is 293. So 293 minus 289 will give us 4. So it means that the numerator is going to be 4. The numerator is going to be 4. So if you convert 293 divided by 17 to mixed numbers, you are going to have 17 whole number 4 over 17. Thank you for watching this video. Pick more examples on converting from mixed numbers or mixed fractions to improper fractions, and converting from improper fractions to mixed fractions or mixed numbers, and try your hands on them using the same principles that we used in this video. See you in the next video, where we will learn how to add and subtract fractions. Bye bye.